What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be discussing some reports coming out in the media about Lionel Messi returning to Barcelona. As we all know, Lionel Messi is the greatest human being to ever touch a football, and he wants to return to the club of his life in Barcelona. Now let's get into these reports and discuss and analyze the situation. The report is coming in from Albert Mansu from Sport, and he's come out saying that Messi is very attached to Barcelona and maintains his idea of returning one day. It's not known when, perhaps maybe we're talking a few years from now when he hangs up his boots, and in a scenario at a managerial level at Barcelona, very different from the current one. So he's basically saying the obvious here a little bit, that Messi wants to return in some sort of capacity to Barcelona, whether it be playing, whether it be from a sporting level or a managerial level. Messi has confirmed a numerous amount of times that he does not want to be a manager. He sees himself working behind the scenes, kind of like in a sporting director role, a scout, an administrator, an advisor, kind of like Enric Massive is doing right now for Laporta as an advisor, or like Boyan, who's scouting and also an advisor, maybe a Deco role where he's a sporting director. So that's where Messi sees himself behind the scenes, and of course he wants to do that for Barcelona. In returns with him returning playing, I think the only way he returns to play is a farewell match or a farewell testimony, whatever the case may be. I think him and Barcelona's chapter on a playing professional term is 100% over. The last time it could have happened, of course, was this previous summer in 2023, where we tried the beginning. In the end, we couldn't really get it done. And basically on that summer, you can tell why. I mean, we spent only 3.4 million on Romeo that whole entire summer. So it shows how difficult it was to bring in Messi during that time. And that's why in the end, that operation didn't happen. But Messi's always stated in the media, in the press, numerous amount of times that he wants to return to Barcelona. He plans on living the, foreseeable future of his life in Barcelona as well once his career ends. Whether he returns to Newell's Old Boys after Inter Miami or retires at Inter Miami, whether he signs a one-day contract at Barcelona and retires at Barcelona, I wouldn't rule out that option completely. Remains to be seen. Of course, there were a lot of rumors about the possibility of him playing in the opening match of the new Spotify Camp Nou in November. There were a lot of reports suggesting that it could have been Argentina versus Barcelona on the 125th anniversary of the club, where Messi would play one half with each side. He'd come out and present his Ballon d'Or, World Cup trophies that he's won outside of Barcelona, stuff like that. Unfortunately, that fell through, mainly because the Camp Nou will not be ready by then. We're looking into the new year now for the Camp Nou in 2025, which does kind of suck. But I do hope that Messi is linked with the opening of the Spotify Camp Nou, or maybe in the completion of the Camp Nou in 2026 as well, when the whole entire stadium is 100% completed. Maybe the opening match, for Joan Gamper, we can have some sort of a game against Inter Miami if Messi's still there, or maybe Newell's Old Boys if he does go there. I do see Messi either going to Newell's Old Boy or retiring at Barcelona on a one-day contract, or retiring into Miami. I don't really see him going anywhere else per se. But it's interesting to know that Messi still has a connection with the club, despite the fact of things that have happened in the past. Again, him leaving in 2021 was not the fault of Joan Laporta. It was the fault of the previous president and how he left the club and how he lied about the economic situation of the club. Yes, it was dealt last second. Yes, it maybe could have been handled better per se. But Laporta came in with 5 hands tied behind his back, and it was difficult for him. I think the way he did it wasn't the greatest. Very similar, of course, to the sacking of Xavi, but nothing that he could have really done in that scenario. Of course, every time Messi left, we tried to bring him back. Of course, that first summer we couldn't because he had a good year contract, a year left with PSG. But last summer, we made those movements, and again, it was possible, but Barcelona had to sell players. They couldn't sign him immediately, and Messi wanted to join immediately then and there. He did not want to wait, so he then decided, of course, to take his talents to Inter Miami. But I think Messi, I see him joining when the new president comes in. Now, the question, I think, is what's up with Messi's relationship with Piqué? Of course, there have been a lot of reports that they had a falling through, that Piqué recommended the club to let him go when they couldn't renew him in 2021. I think the next president of Barcelona will be Gerard Piqué. Whether it's I think it's gonna be in 2029 is when the new, of course, Laporta is re-elected in 2025, which I do expect. The new president coming in 2029, I think then Piqué will start to run. I think right now he's really focused on the Kings League. He has a few years now to really grow it. And once it reaches a point where it's super stable, I see Piqué coming back as the president. But will Piqué and Messi's relationship be healthy and good enough where Piqué can hire him to be, you know, a sporting director or a advisory or a scouting, head of scouting department, or maybe even a vice president, or whatever the case may be. That's what the question remains in. Which president can come in and hire, you know, Messi and have that connection with Messi? Could it be, you know, I don't think Iniesta would do a role like that, or even Xavi as well. And they're really focused on the managerial part. Same with Busi as well. You have to look at players who, of course, have the connection with the city, have a connection with the club, and want to make that run for, you know, president as well. So I think Messi has always came out saying that he wants to be a technical director. I remember his few interviews when he was in Argentina, saying that, yeah, he sees that part of the game very interesting, you know, negotiating deals and signing players and betting on the future and present and stuff like that. So that's where he sees himself in the future, post, of course, his football career. But again, it's all about who's gonna bring him in, who will be that president. I would assume Joan Laporta. I think their relationship is somewhat stable, and I wouldn't say it's, you know, how it was, you know, pre-election 2021, but I would say it's at a very, you know, decent level, because again, Laporta did negotiate with Messi last summer, so there was, of course, some sort of harmony if Messi did openly speak with negotiation. I don't think Victor Font has any relationship with Lionel Messi, so I highly doubt that. And you're basically down to the other former players, whether, you know, the likes of PK runs, maybe a Victor Valdez, but again, he's more so on the coaching side as well. I can't really think of any, you know, Spanish, because of course, to become the president of Barcelona, you have to be a club member, you have to have, you know, of course, a residency in Catalonia as well. So there's a lot of, you know, it can't just be, you know, a random player or something like that. You have to have, of course, a political background. You have to have some sort of knowledge. That's why PK just fits the mold beyond belief. 1,000,000,000% PK will be the club president in the future. I have absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, look at his farewell video. He says sooner or later I'll be back, and he was looking at the freaking board director stand. So PK is going to be the president at some point, whether it's 2029 or maybe past that. So I think PK is really the only one that can bring in Messi back in that, you know, board role. But is the relationship healthy enough? Because of course you have to have a lot of harmony, which we see a lack of nowadays. So it's interesting to see, but we'll wait and see how things turn out. I do, of course, hope that Messi has a farewell that he deserves in Barcelona, whether it be a match or whether we just have, you know, a testimony where we open the stadium, we have the fans come in and just send Messi off the way he deserves to be sent off, like, you know, the way that Iniesta left, the way that Xavi left, even the way that Busquets and Jordi Alba left. Yes, it wasn't glamorous and as great and big as Iniesta and Xavi, but they still left with the double, they left with trophies, they left with, you know, an applaudance from the Spotify Camp Nou, the little, you know, cheeky plates and stuff like that. So Messi deserves, of course, more than that beyond belief. So it'll be interesting to see. I think Laporta will organize somewhat of a farewell for Messi before 2029. Of course, if he does get re-elected in 2025, which again I expect will be the case. So I'm expecting in 2026, 2027, Laporta will organize something for Messi. Of course, him and Jorge Messi, his father, have been negotiating beyond belief on, you know, how to send him off a testimonial or something like that. So I think, again, Messi playing for Barcelona again as a professional, unlikely. I would say 0% chance unless he signs a one-day contract just to play and, you know, get a send-off. I think apart from that, we'll never see Messi play for Barcelona again. But we may see him return in a sporting director position. Of course, in the comments down below, let me know your thoughts on Messi returning to Barcelona. First, let me know your thoughts on how you think we should send him off. We said, you know, a testimonial match, maybe sign him on to like a 6-month contract, and he can just, you know, play for Barcelona, help us win trophies, and then send him off that way. Would you just bin the send-off completely? And where do you see Messi behind the scenes? We see him as like a scouting advisory, an advisory for the president, a sporting director, technical secretary. Where do you see Messi in the behind the scenes area? Because again, that's already confirmed. He will not be a coach unless he has some radical change, but he's confirmed a lot of time that he does not want to be a coach. He'd rather work behind the scenes. Let me know your thoughts about that. Of course, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.